What's going on, my North County fam? This is your girl Kelly here to give you the rundown on what happened in St. Louis County government this past week, and here's what you need to know. So first, there was an update provided about what's going on at the Justice Center, aka the county jail. And I mean, y'all know it was all in the news. There was a lot of drama around just corrections officers not feeling safe, especially after the brutal attack of a corrections officer in October, November of last year, I believe it was, when it was learned that there was one CEO in a pod of detainees, and a pod of detainees, you're talking about like 70 people. So obviously that's not cool, that's not safe. And so there are a lot of advocacy efforts to increase the pay to get more staffing to really make sure that corrections officers, they were safe working in the county jail. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on there. Then they had a new guy, Scott Anders. He became the director of the Department of Corrections and all of that. But as a result of a lot of advocacy efforts, the county council, they did approve providing pay raises to corrections staff, $3 per hour, and they used ARPA funding to do that. So after all that stuff that happened, so the council approved those pay raises in December. What's going on at the jail now? So during Tuesday's Justice, Health, and Welfare Committee meeting with the County Council, there was an update provided by Director Scott Anders. And to sum it up, things are way better, y'all. So since that pay increase in December, they've recruited 52 officers. In that time frame, 9 officers have resigned. But before, he said they was losing like 15 officers a month, y'all. So that's pretty good. So in addition to that pay increase, they have a Department of Labor certified apprenticeship program that's provided a $500 incentive to all the new COs. And after 1 year of completing the program, they're eligible for 30 hours of community college credit. So something else that changed, and there were some other changes, and you can check out the full presentation if you like, because he ran down a whole lot. But in my opinion, one of the most important changes is that they changed the policy. So instead of there being one CO per pod, now there are 2 COs per pod. So obviously not everything is perfect, right? There's always room for improvement. So Director Anders, he mentioned obviously they still need more staff, and they're also working to update more of their policies and processes so that it aligns with best practices and what people are doing throughout the country within that field of corrections. So it's definitely an improvement, and it's just good to hear something positive going on. That's all I'm going to say. The next thing you need to know. There is a discussion about efforts to replace the McDonnell Blvd Bridge over Coldwater Creek. Yes, y'all heard me right. Coldwater Creek, that contaminated creek. So there is a bill up for final passage that would approve a contract with folks that will replace the jacked up McDonnell Blvd Bridge in North County. There is a pause on passing this bill. However, because of legit safety concerns regarding the project. So Councilwoman Dunaway, who sponsored this bill, she specifically called the thing a thing. She's like, look, you know, I don't want to move forward with this bill until we have the conversation with the folks that are involved in this project to make sure that, number one, if there's any radioactive material removed, that is done safely, and number two, for people that are working in and around this area, this site, that they are kept safe. So during this committee of the whole meeting, so that's when this bill was discussed, there were quite a few folks present that are part of this project. So the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, they're part of this project. They spearhead the Foosewrap, or the Formerly Utilized Sites Remedial Action Program. That's a mouthful. So Foosewrap is a radiological cleanup program for 5 St. Louis area sites that contain uranium, thorium, and radium. Some of those things I never heard of until this past week, y'all. And these substances are present as a result of feds when they was working on atomic bombs and stuff in the 1940s and the 1950s. So of those 5 sites in the St. Louis area, 3 of these sites are located in North County. say that again. Of the 5 St. Louis area sites, 3 of these sites, y'all, are located in North St. Louis County. So the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers mentioned that this project is the perfect opportunity for them to remove more than 40,000 cubic yards of contaminated material. And they also, they really stress, like, they have hella safety measures in place for the removal of these contaminated materials. So in addition to the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, you also have these other folks that are involved in the project. Hydrogeologic Incorporated, M3 Engineering, Structures Incorporated, and the St. Louis County Department of Transportation, obviously. So another entity that should be involved or is involved, whatever, is the Department of Emergency Management in St. Louis County. So y'all, check out this interesting exchange between Michelle Ryan, the county's Director of Emergency Management, and Councilwoman Days as they discuss the project and, the, what is it called? Emergency Management Departments, their involvement in the project.
Of course, our concern would be something airborne. Should the bridge collapse and some of the stuff get into the air, Boeing would be our biggest concern. I believe that's the highest concentration of people. Our plan has several alternatives, one being evacuation. Frankly, in a hazmat situation, shelter in place is usually your best option. We do have methods of alerting, and our office is going to be reaching out to Boeing to see how we can more quickly communicate with them should something happen. But like I said, it's in a draft form at this moment. We just haven't had a whole lot of time. But I am happy to entertain any questions that you have for me.
So I guess my question is, how did they move forward without necessarily notifying you? You are the Director of Emergency Management.
Yes, ma'am.
And how were they to do that without notifying you or anybody in the department that you...
As far as I know, my office, other than the larger Westlake landfill, we are not ever notified of these things. I would be very happy to participate in future conversations about that, though.
That ain't good, y'all. So, as a result of this, Councilwoman Dunaway, she is working on legislation that when any project happens, so construction project, some dealing with a utility in a certain zip code that's known or is suspected to be contaminated with something, that it triggers a notification so that everybody that need to be involved is involved before any plans are made and any shovels hit the ground. So what's next, y'all? Councilwoman Dunaway mentioned she'd hold this bill for a couple of weeks to make sure that the rest of the county council were comfortable with moving forward on replacing this bridge. And Councilwoman Days expressed that there will be an extensive, her word, committee of the whole meeting to discuss the environmental concerns in North County, because it's a lot of them, unfortunately, y'all. So, to be continued. And the last thing you need to know, I'm rounding it out with the legislative corner. So y'all remember the bill that I talked about, I think this was a couple weeks ago, that if passed would transfer coins to pay 33 positions in the county executive's office? Well, that bill, it was passed by the county council during their meeting this past Tuesday night. So that's all I have for you this week. Please stay safe out there and you'll see me soon. Peace.